Okay, looking at gold. Now, this was the last idea I posted. If you go back through these things here, we talked about this breaking out, and we're going to have a look at another setup. I'll give you my trade plan for today. Before we do, we've just upgraded this indicator, and the signals that it's giving are really good. Now, in a bullish trend, you only want to take the green signals, so we ignore this pullback. But look at these, really nice. So you can gain access to this. There's a 2-week free trial at no cost whatsoever. Okay, on my website, anthonyfx.com. So let's get into this. 14 days free. I'm going to publish this on TradingView. All right, TradingView, here we go. Looking at gold, this was the last idea. We were looking for this to break out of this range here, and the VWAP and everything. And I mean, look at the outcome, depending on how well you manage that. But that was fantastic. So we're going to have a look at this now. I'll remove my drawings. And I did mention earlier on my monster trade strategy, and that was in one of the previous videos. And I talked about if gold turns around, we can look for, I mean, where do you want to go with that? But that's a target, right? If gold turns around now, and we looked at this range and how big this was, how involved it was here. When you see a range like this going for, I mean, this is a daily chart. Look at it. This is really big money getting involved in here, guys. They work this range, and it looks like it could be, gold possibly turning around here. So if that's the case, this is I'll show you, this is the monster trade strategy. So let's just change that so that it's just a white line. Take it out. Right, the monster trade. Okay, now I talked about this some time ago. Whenever you get a move like this and the potential for this to reverse, you can, I mean, look back down in here, look at this range through here, and then look what happened after. So here's the monster trade strategy, and then we're going to implement it into the beginning, into this, right? And we'll look for a trade plan. But when you see it range like that and you break out of that range, just think about this. Just try to wrap this around your head. All right, you buy, and you do that, all right? You go for broke, and I mean it seriously, all right? Go for broke. That's a 15R. Well, that's a daily time frame, so that's 20R. Right now, here, if let's just say we got involved on the breakout there as it was breaking out. So my target is going to be up around these highs. Okay, 16R, let's do that. Right now, here's the thing. As this moves, and this is a daily, we're looking to get involved. How many times can you get involved on this as it's moving, right? And the idea is with each one of these trades, you close 60% at 1R. Let's just see if we can copy that. Close 60% at 1R. And you just keep like 60% at 1R. How many of these are currently open at 20R, right? So you, on each trade, when you open the next trade, you close 60% of the previous trade, you open a new one. When that runs, you take partial profit 60%, and then you open the other one. Now, your stop loss will follow. Let's just do that. Your stop loss can, with all of these trades, will start to follow. All right, now here's the thing. When you get up in here, all right, now let's just come back to that point there. So that, okay, let's just do this. Just imagine, right? So these trades, all through here, you take 60% off from here. Just mark that up. Okay. That's the red line, right? It pulled back into that. Now, all of the trades that you took above this red line, you close 60%. And what you do when you close 60% is you pull the stop loss up at least halfway, and then you keep running it. Pull the stop loss up at least halfway, and then, you know what I mean? Like the first one, just pull it up. Don't pull it up too tight. Give it a bit of room to move, and then you start to trail. Then you start to bring all your stop losses up. So because if you pull your stop loss up halfway between your stop and your entry, and you've taken 60% out, that's profitable if it gets taken out. So consider that you opened a whole stack of them through this section here. Now it pulls back, and what happens is you lose these right back to, in fact, right back, okay, maybe this one, maybe you lose that one. And all of these here, you've been trailing your stop loss. The only thing is, just you don't trail it too tight, because on that pullback, okay, you lost all of these trades, and you don't want to lose all of this down in here. So you just have to kind of wangle it with your stop loss. Don't trail it too tight. And what you could do is you could just pull it to break even and leave it at that and don't touch it. That's another way around it. So all of these are at break even. This pulls back, and then you start again, right, on the next rally. Okay, this is the monster trade, guys. Really try to wrap your head around what this means and, you know, what's possible. So there's a pullback, so you lose that one. So whatever happens through here, you would lose from this level here, right? You would lose those. So let's just mark that up. I'm going to keep this running. There's a stop loss back in here. I'm going to keep this idea running, and we're going to see how far we get with this monster trade at the current day. So we'll just throw another one. There's your stop loss taken out there, stop loss taken out there. So on all of these pullbacks, your stop loss gets hit, right? But you've got this one running, you've got this one running. Right? This is a daily, right? So how many? I mean, each day, you know, would you get in there, you know, once or twice? That's the question. How many times? You know, if you open 2 a day or 1 a day, even. I mean, you know. So at the moment, all of these trades down in here are still in. All of these trades are still in. You've lost a couple through here. Take those out, right? But everything under that is still running. If that stop loss came up only 50%, that's still in. This one back here. Any other trades you opened up in here, okay, they're gone. But remember, if you take 60% off and you move that stop loss 50% of the range between the stop and the entry, it's profitable if it gets taken out. So you make money regardless, but you've got all of this. Now, think about if you keep going with this, where are we? All right, got to kind of, you know, some stage it turns around, you get that. But, you know, at some stage, you can just wipe out the whole lot and capitalize, you know, just take your money and run at some point. Now, when do you do that? Well, you see, you got to find a target, right? So here, this is my target. So when I reach this point, this is when, okay, that's my red line, probably that here, okay? When I reach that, I'll close everything. So now let's go back to today, and let's assume that we've kind of joined the party here. This is the monster trade, right? We're in. So these are the trades we're in, okay? There's your target right there. And that's where I'm going to be looking to shut these down. Lovely. All right. So we got 14. I mean, yeah. Okay. Down to 4-hour chart. Okay. Let's just do that. Monster trade. Here we go. Get ready. I mean, look, seriously, think about this. All right. Now let's get organized here with a anchored volume profile. This was the range. We broke out. I'm going to pick up the high and the low of that, throw it in there. So this is now running into price discovery, and it's going to hunt. Well, what we can do is we can pull the volume profile right back and give ourselves a bit of a roadmap all the way back. I mean, doesn't matter. Take it back to, I mean, if you want to, you know. But anyway, let's just work with, don't go too far back. You know, we'll just work with what we've got in the immediate future. So let's just run it back to, say, here, up into this high. So that's my target area up in here at the moment, and then it will continue if it continues up. So we've got a bit of a roadmap, a bit of a plan, and, you know, let's just say we've been building these on every pullback. Okay, so we got these trades are running at the moment. Stop loss now moves up. If they get taken out, it doesn't matter. And you know, don't tighten up too much. Don't follow it too close. And as I said, don't go beyond break even. So another pullback here, right? There's another entry. Now you've got this. So let's work on this. Let's assume that you took those. They're still running. Right. Now I'm expecting this to pull back. I would think Fibonacci. Oh, wrong thing. Hang on. Let's grab that fib. Oh, messed something up here, guys. I think there's another volume profile. What's this? That one there, is it? Yeah. Grab the fib, low to high. I don't mind that. Grab the fib down in here, look. There's a red candle, low to high. See that fib pullback? Okay. Run with that. Go with that fib pullback if you like. And I want this to come back a little bit lower. So that's one thing. Down into this fib. See this here? This is a fair value gap there. Fair value gap. Now I'm thinking it possibly pulls back down into that. Down into this high, possibly. Right, so I'm looking for another entry long. You can also pick up the fixed range volume profile, and I'm going to be looking at this area from this low across. Pick that up. All right. We'll go down the time frames now. I'll go down to a 1 hour. So let's just plan this monster trade. Okay, pull that back. So let's just assume we did this and these are in, and then we'll just follow it from here and see how it sort of turns out. Okay, now what you've got is the two volume profiles. You've got this gap through here. This is a fair value gap, right? Fair value is right here at the moment. And then you've got this, you can see it on the volume profile. It pulls right back. Down in here, this is fair value here, fair value gap, and then fair value runs in here as well. Okay, right now, I'm looking for another entry. I mean, I've got ways, I've got indicators and what have you that give me this pullback and rotation. But if you don't have that, just map it out like this. And what you're looking for is when this pulls back and breaks structure, get long, right? Now, two things, see the blue line and see this pink dotted line. That's a key area. Big support and resistance if it pulls through. Now, the other support zone that you have is down in here, or if you like, the point of control, and then there's two levels here that are of interest. Pick up the Anchored VWAP, throw it on the low, again, Anchored VWAP, throw it on the low, and you want price to stay above the Anchored VWAP. Now it's pulling back here. Grab another Anchored VWAP. You've got this low, right? So you're building this cluster. My bias is bullish. The Anchored VWAP goes on the low point. Price has to remain above VWAP. If it pulls back under here, there's no trade until it breaks through. Well, I would like to see it break above this cluster here, this volume profile cluster right there. So maybe look for something like that. I'll be looking to get long here. Okay, if it breaks structure and then we get above this. But the key thing with this is it's got to stay above. Like on every pullback, throw an Anchored VWAP. You want price here. At the moment it's above it, but I'm a little bit reluctant to get involved with that because I'm really wanting to see a bit of a deeper pullback, possibly. But if this continues up, this is the thing. Look, show you this. You break out of here. See this pullback? Look. Let's just grab that. See this VWAP here. This is this value area low. The VWAP breakout and the diagonal come together about here, right? So that's your break of market structure. I'll show you. Look, grab the VWAP, throw it back down in here. See how we break out of the VWAP and we break out of this diagonal line and we break above the value area low. So that's your entry point, okay? We can actually nail that. That's precisely your entry point right there, without a doubt, okay? So it's above VWAP and it's above this. Now I'm looking for the high of the value area, all right, and break above the VWAPs and then get long. Get what I'm saying? I'll take out this Fibonacci. So that's the trade plan with this monster trade, guys. And then we just continue to add on every expansion retrace. All right, using VWAP. Look, I'll show you. Come back down in here. Well, it's range bound. Yeah, you can do it this way as well. I mean, if you've got a range through here, right, on the volume profile. See this? So if you're looking for the breakout of this point of control around here, if that's your trade plan, then throw the VWAP on, swing low, and you want to see the red line, you want him to get above that. Here's the break above the red line here, and that's your entry point. So your entry point is precisely there. Okay, all right, that runs. Hope you understand what I'm getting at. So that's just what I'm looking for here. This is starting to push a little bit. Okay, it's got to hold and break out of this. So what I'm looking for is break of market structure, and include the VWAP with the break of structure. See BOS as it breaks out of this downward, like we're looking at this here, that okay, break of structure there. Right, so we're looking for the same thing pretty much. If that break structure here, okay, it's the break of that diagonal. It's the break of this diagonal down in here, like it did here, pushes out, and the VWAP above both of that, the diagonal and the VWAP. So you throw another VWAP on this. If it pulls back further, throw another VWAP on here, and that'll give you, right? So it's a combination of the trend breakout and break of market structure and the VWAP. Anyway, that's it. So let's see how we go and see if this monster trade shapes up. And assume entries are still running now. Stop losses are at break even on these. Maybe not on these ones. Maybe the stop losses are still halfway, right? On those. Stop loss halfway. When we break out of here, maybe these stop losses come to break even. Now we're looking for another entry. Right, wherever. That's my trade plan. 60% off at 1R. Stop loss up halfway. Love it if you comment. Let me know what you think. Can you relate to what I'm talking about? Okay. With that, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Monster trade.